shot here, but not much else.
We're here to find some documents.
He's gonna check.
The Malik dossier. Basically,
So Derek will take a stab.
It's a paper trail that proves Malik was behind the Canada House bombings. Problem is, these documents won't be on one computer. They'll be on dozens.
Little bit of a loose call, so I wonder if he intends to bluff the river if he ends up missing and the turn goes check check.
7 on the turn. Pat's gonna check. Derek also gonna check. Out in front, 3 on the river.
There's a lot of stuff that Pat can have that has missed here, including hearts, 4-5, 6-4, 6-5.
Right now he's been bet 650. And this would be a heck of a call if she'd ever call this with ace high.
And I'd like to point out that I love the way Pat is playing this hand.
He's doing it!
Off the river, and wow, what a call by Derek.
Whoa! Call of the night right there. And he will raise the 200,000. Look at this, Derek with ace-king just calling.
I like this call from Derek very much. He's in third chip position right now, and he's well ahead of Brendan and Eric, so he doesn't want to take any unnecessary risks to get eliminated here.
Well, the flop comes up jack, 4-3, all clubs.
What a flop here, Vince. Derek with 2 overcards and the king-high flush draw, Max with the best hand, pair of 10s and a flush draw, and Pat ace-high with the ace-high flush draw.
A couple of checks, and now Derek, with just the ace-king, but the big king of clubs, is going to bet it 350.
Pat certainly not going away. Looks like he's going to call. And he appears to be reaching for raising chips.
Oh boy, he's going to try to squeeze this here.
Wow.
Little does he know what's behind him. Yes, he's made a 1.2 million total.
Huh. I guess he's saying, I'm willing to get all in against Derek, and I want to define Pat's range here a little better.
Derek goes out and wish for a club or an ace.
Yeah, Pat obviously looking for a club, an ace with...
Oh!
Yeah, that'll give him the best hand.
Beautiful card. Ace is there for Patrick.
Now, when someone like Max check raises 2 players on this monotone board, I don't know that Pat can feel super confident that his ace is good yet, but after it goes check check on the turn, now he's likely feeling better.
And a 6, so no flush. Pat will check it again. Maxime feels he's beat.
I would be stunned if Max did anything but check here.
Is he going to take a stab? No, he's going to check it, and Pat shows the ace, and he's going to extend the chip lead right now.
And Brendan, hoping for just anything good like an ace. That's pretty good in this spot. Yep, Brendan will make this call, and so his tournament life on the line again.
Just don't run a boat out, though.
Going to the turn. It's a queen. Oh, man. Oh, what a card. Can he get lucky? No, it's a 9.
Brandon going to be eliminated in 4th place. Derek Walters scores the elimination.
All right, there's an updated leaderboard. Maxime Heroux above 8 million, Derek Walters at 6, and Pat Quinn a little above 4 million.
And he's 20,000, line 6120. Here we go, down to the money pit. Derek Walters. He's from Tempe, Arizona, and he will raise this up to 250 to go. Pat Quinn goes out.
Max here with an ace-deuce in the big blind. He's gonna make the call.
Yeah, Max is 26 years old, poker pro, lives right down the road here from Playground Poker. He's got a lot of friends here. And here's the flop, it's an ace-jack 4, there's 2 diamonds.
Good flop for both players. Max top pair, Derek with the flush draw. We'll see some chips go in.
Yeah, Derek gonna make that continuation bet 205 with the 4 flush. Max, of course, hitting aces. Okie dokie calls. The 2 chip leaders competing, and a diamond on the turn gives a flush to Derek Walters.
There it is. Derek's definitely going to bet here, and I would be very surprised if Max gave up on his top pair that easily. So the real decision for Max in this hand is going to be on the river.
Well, Derek's going to bet again, 500. Max doesn't believe it necessarily.
Yeah, Max is calling because he knows that Derek can be double barreling here with a number of hands that are still drawing, and he would be exploited if he gave up on all his top hands.
Last card is a 5. Doesn't change anything. And the man with the flush, Derek Walters now.
Mm-hmm. He's got to decide a bet size. There's 2 million out there.
How much can I make for my victim? Well, there it is, 1.4 he wants.
Nice big bet.
Sometimes a bigger bet looks weaker. Sometimes a smaller bet looks stronger. That's the beauty of poker.
And Max with a difficult decision here.
And no, he can't get the call. Maxime escapes.
Yep, good fold from Max there.
Pat was born in Canada, grew up in Ireland, and then he returned to Canada at age 21.
Now Max here with the ace-deuce suited in the big blind. Pat's pretty short. A lot of players would just go all in. Max elects to check here.
Ace-jack-9 on the flop. That is nice for Max. The local, born and raised here in Montreal.
Pat does have a little piece here. He has a gut shot to the 10. Maxime, with top pair, elects to check back.
And here we go to the turn. A 4.
Well, after Max checked back, it looks like Pat is going to take a stab at this pot for 425,000.
Yeah, Pat is really nothing. Has a lot of gears to his game for a non-professional player. And like he said before, if he doesn't have the hand, he gives a lot of dirt.
喂，新年打俾我啊！
喂，喂老師，喂，唔阻住你嘛？
差唔多瞓啦，你點啊？
喂，我想講咧，你咩時間會喺旺角啊？嚟緊呢個禮拜？
嚟緊呢個禮拜星期一同星期五咯。
唔係啊，因為除咗啲時間咧，唔記得時間旺角教會。
暫時冇啊，你想點啊？
冇，咁咪下星期上翻你堂啊，跟住搞搞時間，跟翻進度啲相。
都可以啊，你星期。
如果你唔得，我逼你㗎，Sir，因為我同食問下啫。如果唔得，我自己跟翻條。
星期四中午你得唔得啊？
得啊，係。
你幾點方便啊？
你啊，因為我自己整得星期二、星期三、星期五㗎咋係。
哦，咁星期五咯。星期五啊！
我上條片其實難唔難嘅？你覺得？你發唔
都要補佢㗎啦，因為 standby 始終都快地啊嘛。
如果唔得，我自己練啦，我已經就。
唔係你睇個時間啦，星期五你如果你睇下2點得唔得？
我要開工啊，上揾食嘅要。
你幾點鐘啊？
呢個就唔係，我自己練啦係，因為我已經時間夾唔到啊係。
哦，你要夜晚啊？
因為我而家每日都15.9啊嘛係。
哦，夜晚都得。
阿 Sir 呢個再講，阿 Sir 啊，我想講咧，你真係因為阿 Chilam 啦，就前幾日同我講我幾時翻啊嘛。係。咁啊，其他人等緊我翻，你講真係講笑㗎咋？
係啊，個個都想你翻㗎，真係。
冇㗎，我覺得好似講笑啫，唔係咩係？
講真㗎。
我因為 Kelly 咁，我都冇同我講過嘅。
唔係啊 ，Kelly 冇本啊嘛，而家問題係。
冇本咩意思啊？
即係佢而家冇人同佢跳啊嘛，問題係。
我冇人同佢跳都冇玩啦，你同佢跳啊唔係咩？
我同佢跳一次啫嘛，咁你可以喺後面同佢練㗎嘛，係咯。咁你當你可以係咁同佢跳都得㗎嘛，你當練習又好乜都好。
冇本咩係？Chilam 咩？冇 Chilam 咩係
？Chilam 都同俾人爭住啊，即係男仔啊嘛。
阿 Sir 咁我下星期會翻嘛，唔多謝你間先再講啊 Sir。
好啦，再講啦。OK， 拜拜。
on patrol.
Well done. Now I should be able to stream myself into SIRS's nasty little snoop computer. Head to the base.
Dirty looks.
Filament admin terminal.
That's right.
There's an intruder in the building
He's
security
giving a
systems.
dirty
I
look to
don't-
Max right
Sorry,
now,
channel is being
praying
hacked.
that he will go
I've
away,
taken
but
control
Max
of
with top
building
pair is
security.
absolutely not
But I'd
going to
prefer
do
to
that.
Oh,
end this
yeah, he has just
bloodlessly
nurtured
if
this
you're
hand
willing to
along.
listen to reason.
Don't fucking listen.
And the
Zero
river
Day took
card
over
8.
Parliament security
So
right
now
before
Pat
the
has a little
bombs.
piece of
This
that.
is their MO.
What are you talking about? I want DedSec gone, but no one else needs to die.
That's what he'll do for
You've proven yourselves
750,000.
very skilled, and I could
He
put
wants to
those
hurt the
skills
short
to
stack.
use. Join
Now
me.
Pat, who's
You can
trying to
still
steal, has a
make
little
something of
something
your
there.
Join
Can he get
Zero
away?
Day.
Just muck
Are
it,
you
move
touched
on.
in the head?
0 day. No,
And
I
he's
can
going to do the
sense
right thing. Lays that down.
anyway. And besides, we have a lot in common. We
Max,
both
the
use
king nine of
violence
diamonds,
and
raising the
manipulation
button to
shape
300,000
London into
here.
something better.
Derek has ace 7
The
in the
only
small,
difference is
lets
I
that
know
go,
what I
and
want
Pat
it to
in the
be.
big blind with
Strong,
king 3 suited
stable,
will make this call.
unified, safe. This is what I value.
All right, so king 9 versus
What
king
about
3.
you?
Here is the flop. It's
Talk all
a
you want.
7-7-9.
I'm still coming for you.
Derek Walters kicking himself. He had
If
a
we can't
7.
convince each other, then I suppose killing.
Nice flop for Max here. We've seen him check back in a lot of these spots, and he does it again.
10 on the turn.
Well, Pat has nothing here. No pair, no draw. Be surprised if he puts much in this pot.
Have I been here before?
What to
Oh,
do
yeah.
when you have
Back
nothing.
in the day.
Oh my god.
That's what you do. That's
Whoa.
what you do.
He just went all in for 3 times the size of the pot. And with just no pair, no draw, no nothing. And Max must be so confused. He checked back like, okay, I hope this guy bets the turn. I can't wait to call. But then he shoves for 3 times the size of the pot, and Max has to wonder, Does he have a 10? Does he have a 7? Or is he just drawing? And as it turns out, he just has nothing.
Yeah, but Pat Quinn has the guts to make that kind of bet. Push his man out. It's gonna work. Pat Quinn, pump man, looking good right there.
Shoulder block. 8 deuce of spades.
I mean, ace deuce of spades would be reasonable, but no, dog. He had king 3 of hearts. What the hell?
I think I maybe like a call. Maybe.
Yeah, right.
His card's starting to get a little bit better. He will make a raise to 350 total. And right behind him, Maxime with the mid pair of 7s.
Right, and when Pat has about 20-ish blinds here, a lot of players in Max's shoes would 3-bet and just try and get the money in pre-flop. Looks like Max is just going to call with his 7s.
And now into Derek Walters, who looks down at a beautiful ace-king.
This is interesting.
1.2 million.
Max slightly outships Derek, but they are a clear 1 and 2. Derek gonna pump it up to 1.2 million here. I expect Pat will fold, and I have no idea what Max will do. Playing these situations out of position is never fun. Oh, wow. Oh, my goodness.
How much is it?
And Derek is not happy about this. I know he has ace-king, and that's a really strong hand, and I doubt he's going to get away, but the last thing he wants to do when he's basically even in chips with Max is just take a flip to see who's the chip leader and who's out in third.
And look at this, Derek's gonna make the call with the flip.
I was afraid you were gonna have that. It was a big flip, man.
Good luck.
You didn't want this either.
Yeah.
I'm folding up.
These guys are gamblers. They're going for the gusto. They're going for it all. The happiest guy is Pat Quinn, of course.
Yes.
Yeah, I think I got it. Flip master, bro.
Maxime? Oh, I love this guy. I mean, he just does not care. He's having so much fun over there. No nerves at all. You can see Derek Walters, meanwhile, is he's out of his seat, but he's on the edge of his seat.
Flops a queen, jack, 9, 7's out in front so far.
Oh man, Derek just saying 10 ace king, 10 ace king, please one time.
Maxime in a beautiful position to break Derek Walters.
Certainly would be dirty if it came a running queen jack. But Derek really looking for an ace king or 10.
Turn card is a deuce, not gonna help Derek Walters.
Yeah. Max says that's the one I like.
Derek is 1 card away from elimination.
Derek's like, really? This is how I go out? I play great all night and then I have to play this massive coin flip and this is how it ends for me? Really?
Last card coming up, it's a deuce, it's over.
That is how it ends for Derek Walters, elimination.
Derek Walters from Arizona out in third place. Max has been full steam ahead to take this massive chip lead into heads up against Pat.
Just never know when you're a pub man. Okay, back to the action here. Maxime with a ugly looking 8-4, just calling. Here's the flop, ace, jack 6. Pat with queen high, Max with 8 high.
Yeah, yet again, nothing for either player. Tiny stab from Max here for 200,000.
Come on.
Whoa! Pat! Slow down!
Oh boy, he must love poker. He bets whether he has.
Nope, not time to put money in with a good hand. Huh.
Deception there for Pat. I like that about him, just calling. And Maxime not gonna raise with jack 10. We're gonna see 3 cards. And the flop is at ace, jack, deuce, so Max hitting jacks.
Well, Max takes the lead here. He's been playing these medium strength hands pretty slow thus far at this final table. And both players check this flop, which brings us to a 5 of hearts on the turn. Well, there's a number of draws out there. Nope, Max still not gonna bet. Pat also not gonna bet.
And wisely checking that. 5 on the river, pairing the board.
Now Maxime will probably bet.
Yep, he wants a little value here. He's been so patient. And he's going to put in a 375 teaser for him. Oh, that's an insta call by Pat. He's not going to like it. But that's the way it goes. So Maxime getting ever so close to taking down a title here in Montreal. To succeed Mike Sexton, who won it last year. Winner's going to take home $403,000. Lines are 1 and 2, and here we go. Pat now with a 9-7 with the button. And he will just call again. No raise. Max, the 26-year-old poker pro with a 4 deuce of diamonds. Gonna see 3 cards. No raise here. And the flop is, wow, a 6-5-4, 2 diamonds.
What a flop. Max, pair, gut shot, flush draw, Pat, overcards, straight draw. Can't imagine that there won't be a bunch of money in the middle.
That's on Pat. It's been checked too. Oh boy, he is going to push it. He's going to push it all in.
That has been Pat's move lately, and Max, I'm sure, will be happy to gamble here.
Yeah,
He's
flush.
just like, yeah, let's go.
Pair of 4s. He turns them up. He calls.
Max is a nice favorite here to become our champion.
It's a nice hand.
Good luck.
Pat looking for an 8, a 9.
Turn card is a deuce.
Okay, just one more card to fade, and Max is going to be the champion.
Can he catch it straight, or otherwise it's over? Max will take this championship, the local.
It's a deuce, and Max has done it! The hometown hero takes down the pub owner.
Yeah, tremendous effort by him. Let's go talk to him.
Yeah, it feels good. I mean, I'm happy with the top 2 results. Obviously, I would have liked to have the top coming in as the chip leader.
We're playing a 4 deuce of diamonds. Maxime, how did that feel?
Feels good. I felt like gambling at the end, you know? I wasn't gonna fold.
Taking the free card, but I do like Marvin's line here. I think it's the plus EV play, because if your opponent has air, you're not really getting much more out of him anyways. But if he has a hand, he's likely to hold on.
Also, because Trickett let out, it looks like he has an ace. If he hits his flush, then maybe he'll get more action from Red Meyer.
And Trickett also knows that if he hits a queen or jack, it's probably not good, because my opponent either has ace, queen, and wants to get it in. Maybe not ace-queen, because you would have heard pre-flop, right, Jesse? Ace-queen would have been pre-flop raise, but he knows he's beat, but he can't really see.
Feels like the kind of board where some pros would check raise with a draw with Marvin's hand, because they know that they can't get called unless it's an ace or better.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
I mean, Trickett might think that they're both on a draw here. That's
okay, now this is for sure.
Oh my God.
Everything says check here. This happened earlier when we had quad 4s. I think it's very important to check here because the pot's already 137. That's a very big size pot here. You're going to be able to get a lot of value on the river and more value if the draw comes, which you could have 8-10 of clubs, by the way. So you really want to check here.
How's Marvin's poker face? He has quads.
Yeah, he has quads.
That's a pretty good poker face.
I think he's going to check. I think he's a genius and will check. Although
he's looking at his chips. He's reaching.
But it's not consistent with his story to check, is it?
You're right. It's not.
And
really.
if he was really on a draw,
he's got ace-queen. He's trying to get value out of it. Yeah. So, but the funny thing is, even okay. So Trickett knows he's beat. Trickett thinks he's against ace-king, not quad 7s, by the way. And he knows.
Oh, with one card to come, Trickett probably is not even going to.
I still would have. I would have liked a smaller bet, 20% pot or check, because it's just too strong a hand.
Here, show it. I was bluffing.
You have to show it.
Oh, wow.
I'm still live.
Where are you? My money is on Marvin, because not only has he proven that he can survive, and he has in spots where other people would have fallen. I love the guy.
Do you know the story of how Marvin won the Bluff Player of the Year this year?
No.
He was in second, and he was at the Bellagio. I think there's a tournament in December at the Bellagio. He busted out. There was only one more ranking tournament left in the year. Started the next day in Prague, the High Rollers.
Oh my
and he
God.
had the winner get second to win the Player of the Year.
I do remember hearing that story now that you remind me.
He busted out of the tournament at Bellagio, went straight to the airport, flew straight to Prague, got off the plane, showed up at the High Rollers 2 hours late, and won the tournament.
By the way, look at this. It's pocket eight's real hand. Jungle Man, real hand.
This is the second time he's been caught in the sandwich by Jungle Man. Helmuth is about to pop like a firecracker.
Yeah, the trigger's gonna
What's your
fold.
total?
Oh my God.
He is gonna pop.
The story that Phil Helmuth can tell himself is I might just have to call it because I called with a big hand. I disguised my hand. I
Because
just flatted.
they've got it in before.
He's kind of 4 feet
That's
above
exact
Jungle
total,
on the
180.
table, staring down at him.
I found when I'm in a tournament and I find myself standing up contemplating my odds, I'm always behind. Like,
Jennifer, that's very
subconsciously,
true.
I know our next move is walking away.
It's kind of written for Daniel to move in this hand, not you.
It's supposed to.
No, I know.
Yeah.
Oh, nothing personal, but I know you're going to move in with small pairs and ace nines and stuff.
I'm known as that guy who moves in light a lot. Animal.
Oh my God, never mind. I'm sure you were going to fold if you had like sixes. Never mind.
And is this a really tough spot, Phil, or do you
Yeah,
think
he's
it's clear cut one
demonstrating how
way?
tough it is by saying, look, if you had done this, I could call, you might have sixes or whatever.
What do you got? What do you got? What do you got, Juggle nuts. Ace, 2 aces? Wow.
You're the best. No wonder you're 13.
He folded the king high.
Actually, I had a. Never mind. I had pocket eights, bro.
Oh, wow. Good fold.
Damn. Hell of a pull.
I thought it was a pretty good laydown. Jeez. I had nines, he had kings, I had eights, he had aces. Oh my God, come on, man. When do I get some of these reverses? I don't think they fold those hands.
Don't worry, kid. You keep coming over the top. We'll see what happens, right? You know, yeah, that works a few times, but just like all the rest of them for 20 years and 13 bracelets, you know.
I don't like it. I don't like it.
See, he's been out. He's been cold deck, but he's really, really, really happy. Poker is all about breaking the other person's spirit.
It does.
Oh yeah, and Helmuth is actually, for a guy who's short stacked, look how strong he looks right now. He's power. Here comes a shove by, and he may be getting called.
125, 130, 138. Oh, you didn't even think? You don't want to count? You want anything?
Doesn't want to count, doesn't want to think about it.
Coin flip.
Uh-oh.
Marvin said, I need to call you were right. He's got it. He can afford it at this stage.
That central server is Filament's admin terminal. Connect me to it to gain access.
Out of here.
So do. 35 in a row, I think.
There is no justice.
Just a little, right? Just the queen.
Queen, 10, or an ace. It's basically, and now a spade is no good. Doesn't matter. He still needs the same cards.
It's always a little more painful on the river, which is.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
They get out.
That's very wow. I didn't see that happening. I really thought the ace-10 was going to win because, you know, Daniel Rum miscalculated with the poker gods that hand. He got lucky.
You're going to win? You win.
That's a seismic momentum shift, isn't it? I mean,
Well,
well, all of a sudden, for the first
Oh,
time,
and it's-
Negreanu may actually be a factor in this heat.
Right,
Yeah, he has
Daniel is back to
300,000.
starting stack.
He's been on a stub.
He's as happy as he
These
can
doors are
be.
sealed until you take out the
We have
microwave
to take a
drones.
short break, but there is still more to come from this first league match, and I will be catching up with some of the players in Group B as they wait to take their turn on the belt.
This Premier League season, 16 players have been divided into 2 groups of 8. Group B are now in the building and preparing for their first league match. Harris Scott is taking some time away from the action to share an ice cream with Tony G.
Managed to catch up with Tony while Group A are playing their first heat. Now, you've actually played all of the Premier League so far. What is it about this event that makes you excited, that keeps you coming back and playing?
It's the best event to play in the world. It's so much fun because you don't get to bust from the very first game if you get unlucky. You play the best players in the world. The Jungle Man's the #1 target I have now. Hoping he makes the final and I make the final. If I can cause some pain. I just love it. It's a lifestyle. Everyone wants to play the Premier League.
Meanwhile, in Group A's first league game, Matt Marvin continues to chip up. He is enjoying a great run of cards, flopping pairs and flush draws, and has dealt kings twice to help him move into second place. Everyone will be awarded points for where they finish in this format. The winner receives 16. The runner-up gets 11. Then it's 8, 6, 4, 3, 2, and 0 for coming last. The Jungleman's going to have his character tested here. He's been leading for most of this.
Can you do something about this drum? You can't seem to take a fucking hint.
Ace 10. This is a button call. He wouldn't do it with the smaller big blind. This is it's technically what I would call sometimes. I've called 40% of the time.
I think Trickett thinks he may have found a spot here. Is it a spot, and why would it be a spot?
No, I think he did the best play.
Well,
it could be a spot to
yeah,
squeeze.
Philadelphia's
Sleep. I don't know.
His outs are dead.
Would you look at this?
I mean,
a chain of custody documents for 40 kilos of Semtex. It ricochets through a dozen shell companies, but ultimately ends up registered to an address in Southall. And would you guess who lived across the street from it for 30 years? Victoria and Imran Malik, parents to one Richard.
This is the second time Rettmeyer has raised pre-flop and then checked the flop, both times with hands that
Ace King, he did it against Ace Queen and he chopped.
Well, this one is heartwarming and incriminating.
And also,
he had 10s on a 3-spade board with no spade.
I mean, do you get the feeling that if you check to Duhamel on the flop, he's going to bet every time?
Feels like.
And he's taunting him.
Look at this. It's an unredacted mission report for 2 SRS agents instructed to plant explosives as part of a training exercise, and it's signed and dated by the Home Secretary himself.
Seems it's a bad day to be the secretary.
I don't think Marvin really cared about that hand. Sometimes you just let it flow by. He's a let it flow by guy. It's like, whatever, I had King 10 of clubs. It was a real hand. That flop's all red and glow.
Exciting! Did you know that the head of security for Canada House had a daughter stuck in a Cairo jail?
You know, Duhamel,
and that she was
doing to
pardoned the week before the explosion?
Was just game theory appropriate.
Seems that Malik's given up having the microwave drones destroy compromised hardware. Now he's got them targeting you. The effect will be about the same, though.
Yeah, everyone's waking up with junkie. Oh, wait a minute. Marvin does not have junkie. So out of position with kings. He knows it's
what do we have here? Straight from your own laptop, Malik. Case files on all these little psyops you've been running. Honestly, you might as well have titled this Evil Bomb Conspiracy, Doc.
If he knew
That's enough.
I would put in 42. 42 is an ultimate torture number. That's the number, right, Jesse? Marvin's going to put in 42 because you get a chance for your opponent to hang himself with a big shove, and you get a chance for him to call with hands that are just super crushed, like Jack 9. I'm going with 42. Oh, he's going with 48. 49. Okay. 49. I would have done 42. But this is
7,000 more. That's how they do it in Germany.
Now look at what he's left him in the spot with: 31 to collect 78. Well, everyone's calling 31 to collect 78, right? That's 1 unit to get more than 2 units.
Now, is it going through Negreanu's mind that the one time Rettmeyer has 3-bet this evening, it was with not a super duper hand, it was an ace 10. I mean,
right. He's gonna peel off the chips, and he can go broke if it's a jack or a 9.
He's a little suspicious, isn't he?
This is why it's always right to raise with your kings and aces, because the math is gonna price people in with these hands that are just super crippled.
I don't know. I don't know if he'd go broke if he hits a jack or a 9. I think
This is good.
Proceed
Good
with
poker.
caution.
Look at that Negreanu fold. That was good.
Yeah.
That's it? Okay.
Marvin has had the nuts 4 hands in a row.
He really has.
Wow.
Hey, it makes you sleep at night.
Good job he's been showing them hands, or you might have just been like,
Yeah.
It's
Nuts. I didn't see the last stream. Like, what is he on? What is he on here? Win it right now?
He has
makes you sleep at night though.
his
Like,
4
fold
pots
it
in
and
a
now I'm
row.
like, wow, okay.
At least you haven't just.
That brings Marvin to
So good for me.
second in chips.
Because I always want to pay to see. Now I don't have to pay. I can see anyway. I get to see for free.
The blinds are going to go up now, yet again, and the 4 levels you can see. I mean, it's going to be big blinds for 7 players.
I think we're going to see some fast eliminations coming up.
Is it 6-12? It is 6-12 right now, boys and girls.
How many hands will Marvin raise it with on the button? Well,
Oh my lord. Marvin has only been getting the nuts. Like 80% of his hands for the last like orbit and 2 orbits has just been the stone cold. Can't lose hands. Negrano had 9-5. Duhamel straight. This is straight gangsta triv call. This is suited ace wheel draw.
I mean, Duhamel might expect that Marvin is quite wide here, meaning he would be raising with a lot of hands on the button.
Yeah.
And
Duhamel will probably lose a small pot here, is my guess.
Ace has still got value, right?
Yeah, but he's gonna, maybe he'll lose 1 bet somewhere in there.
Check, check.
I think that's plays fine.
Coffee's coming around.
You don't know caffeine either, right?
You can either bet half the pot or check here. Either plays fine. I've slight leaning towards betting because your opponent, you know, he has a jack, he has a straight draw, and you kind of want to charge these hands.
I mean, you can't just lay down here with 2 kings, can you? You gotta start getting some money in the pot, right?
I would bet like half the pot. You still have an option to get away if the guy goes ballistic on you, and you can put him on a queen later. But.
What do you got? What do you got, huh? What do you got?
And right there, that little bet.
The nuts, squads? Just a straight? Kings again?
That's 6, 7, 6 hands. They're like,
I'm not sure. I've had enough showing.
By betting, you also, you know, if an ace comes, you don't have to worry about it anymore because you just bet him off of it.
Marvin doesn't matter. He doesn't mind so much as long as he keeps stacking them, I think.
So you're more than the Mad Hat than you are.
What the hell? Come on.
I missed that one.
Really? Jungleman's ships are over here every. I mean, it's so annoying. Is he trying to tilt me? I mean, I asked him to move his thank you. What the heck is going on here?
He wasn't trying to tilt you. That's why it's funny.
I know he's not trying to tilt me. I know. That's
just,
I agree.
He just tilts you by accident.
I hope Phil is getting wound up and is gonna do a rant.
I mean, I'm already tilted. I'm folding 8s, single win with 7s. I mean, it's like unbelievable. It's just the same old every tournament.
I'm part of they. I had 7s, right? I like being in the they.
How'd you like it? I called it too. I said, I wish Danny would have moved in the hand before. And you said, what? Like I'd move him with 7s? You said 6s. I said, yes. It's different. And you were in the next hand with him.
With the button, he raised. We were going to fold him.
Yeah, whatever.
It's true. It is different.
I don't blame you.
Okay, so here we have...
You know, it's an incredible match bet, Helmuth versus Negrano in this Premier League. Who do you think's the favorite? Is it very close?
Well, right now, Negrano's the favorite.
He wants to do this. I won't allow it.
I don't know. I just think that Negrano's got to be a favorite. I mean...
The Jungleman peeled off the flop
Independent power has been rebooted. Return to the central court to complete the cycle.
Now versus a straight draw with a flush draw. Although the flush draw is no good, Jungleman doesn't know that. He sees that he does have the straight draw, and probably nobody has the flush draw. But I mean, I don't know if that's even fair to either of those guys, because it might be by such small degrees. If Negrano is that much of a favorite over Helmuth, I don't think it's by more than 5%, to be honest. It can't be, can it?
I think it's very close. I mean, in the last Premier League, they both played in. They play good. They ended up playing for the last spot, so.
They play good, but I just think that I think Negrano's going to play this structure short stack better.
I think it's hard to say because I think it's probably situational, like where they're at, what kind of cards they're getting, but where they're at psychologically at the moment.
But to be fair, you know how many times I've put in with 8s and been wrong, and I think Helmut made some good folds there. I mean, he's folded right a lot. I don't know. Don't ask me tough questions, Jesse.
Well, this is a tough question for
He's asking me like, to
that's like saying who would win a fight, Iron Man or Spider Man.
Obviously, he's not going to call here.
Good hand.
He's now down to just about a bean.
A bean.
If Duhamel thinks he has you, he'll go for hyper large overbets. He just had 2 pair, you know, but he knew he was winning.
He's the short stack and not happy about it.
And he had a monster. He had the monster stack earlier.
He was the kingpin. Now how can he survive? Can he do it? This is survival skill. There's Luke Bubblegum.
This is not an area where Jungleman has tons of experience. I mean, obviously, you know, short stack tournament play isn't that complicated, but it's not something he's done a lot of.
Yeah, remember online he's playing cash games more often, which means he gets to have 200 big blinds or whatever he wants. So he's playing 100 BBs or more typically. But he's a wizard and he knows all this ICM modeling and all this stuff.
I think if you asked him about it, he would say it was trivial.
I'm fully integrated with Philip, and it seems Malik didn't quite have time to cover his tracks. I believe I can trace his position.
Do it.
What'd you have, John?
All right, let's find you.
Oh, the best hand.
Huh?
I had the worst hand.
No,
Too old.
Oh.
He is honest. He said I have the worst hand.
About 100.
100, which is 8 big blinds.
Yeah.
So there is no hand that Duhamel
I
should be
sent the
raising
Malik
with
dossier
here that
to
he's not
every
gonna
media
call a
outlet
shove
from the
the
GBB
rival.
to the Aberystwyth Sheep Farmers Gazette. It may take some time to sort through, but it ought to clear dead sex
Antonio's
today.
definitely going to play
At least for this particular
Does
round.
he raise? Let's
The
see. I don't
Malik?
know.
Made the mistake of
Raise
getting
to
into a
get it all in is a
self-driving car
pretty
that
gross
owed me
way
a
to play it.
favour.
I
It's
just
taking
would
him
call
to
it. He
a
might
secure
raise.
location.
There he
Why
does
aren't
it.
we
He
just
raises.
driving that car back
And
into
it's
the
probably
depths?
raising for value. I think he
Believe
knows.
me,
Oh,
I'd
come
love
on.
to,
He's half
but he
raising
might
for
be part
value.
of Zero's
The other
end.
half is
I
scared.
just don't know how
I
this will
thought
fit
the other
together,
half is
but we need to
he's
find
gotta
out.
get I
You
want to
hear
get
that,
back in the
Malik?
ring with
You're
Duhamel.
going to
I'm not
help
a
us for real
one-round
this
and done
time.
kind of
Bloody
guy.
hell, you
Yeah, and
insane
I
robot.
think also too.
He might hold on too.
We're going here, we're going there, we're going today, we're going tomorrow.
This is going to be a call out.
Antonio is ready for action.
Let's call it. Duhamel saying, I have a very good hand. I'm going to call.
Yeah.
He does have a good hand. Jack 10 of clubs is
Yes.
durable.
Could this be the key matchup of
This
this
is sick. This pot's big.
of this
depends
group?
on the
I mean,
flop.
not this hand, but these two.
I think
don't
Antonio's
think
going to
so.
win this pot.
Yeah.
He's going to.
Not with that flop. You're almost going to give it up.
Yeah. If you bet here, you bet for value. If you get called, you figure the guy's jacked.
What other hands would Antonio have called with here besides a medium pocket pair?
No, he raised.
You raised.
Oh, sorry, he 3-bet, right? He could have any.
Well, ace king, ace queen.
Right. Ace 10 of hearts.
Showed Duhamel that he's not always going to roll
Yeah,
over.
6-8 suited.
He could have had anything, really.
Is that one of yours?
I'm good with that, man. I gave it to Cole. Hey, there's a good place to be. In a good company. I don't know.
The thing about what Duhamel did earlier was
Ivy and they also.
when Antonio gives him aggression, he's going to respect it more because he's going to be like, well, you know I'm sick, so if you're doing this, you probably have something. Let me see if I can crack you. A little of this comes out. That could have been a big putt. You know, give a...
Yeah. It could, but I feel like these two are going to, not just because they're sitting next to each other, but we've got 3 more Group A heats after this. I think these guys are going to have a very cozy relationship.
Yeah.
Like, is Antonio thinking about this could be a pass here with the short stacks out there?
Hello, Jungle.
I think he's worried that Jungle might shove.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to call it shove.
Hey, you know, Jungle Man does have less than 100,000.
Freaking knew it.
I know, you told everybody else too.
Here. Could be good.
Oh, is that a call, Phil?
I think maybe.
How much is it?
It's gross. 100. Yeah, you can maybe fold for the points thing, maybe. I don't know. This is close. You're calling. You don't even if you're winning, you don't like. Yeah. I might fold. It's a tight play. I'd rather be the first aggressor and try and get fold too. So I would fold, and it might be wrong.
What do the super geniuses do?
I think I would just fold.
Just fold. I think you're right.
Thank you. I won't forget you.
He's probably knew that Jungle Man was shoved no matter what, an open pot, and he's probably not putting him on an ace. He probably thinks he has like King Jack or whatever, but it's like, you know, you'd rather have King Jack, I think, than...
Well, yeah, you'd have the guy overcoated, but in this spot, you're still 60%.
Oh, really? I don't have much. You're okay. You have a decent hand?
I had a drawing kind of hand.
Oh.
Wow, you told me.
We're like 50-50, right?
Another check. This is control. Alarm's been activated near you. Survey the area. Over.
We're 50-50. Pretty close.
Yeah, neither wants to be exposed like this, unless they win, of course. I think Jungle's gonna win this. Oh, I was way off. Look at this. This is a Terabad flop for
Terabad.
It's got like only a Jack or 9 can bring it home. He's now got a few more little outs.
He's got 9 outs.
Yeah, the heart jump is huge.
Now that we have him, we should talk to him. Find out what he knows about Zero Day.
Wow,
Just
clean miss.
don't get too close to him, all right?
Now he is out.
As long as he's alive, he's a
It
threat.
feels like, was it an unfair result for Jungle here tonight in his first heat?
Poor Jungle.
So 2 points to start out the Premier League for Jungle. Big smiles from everyone else at the table.
Well, I honestly think I couldn't have played much better, actually. The only thing I could have done is played looser and more aggressive. But post-flop, didn't really make any mistakes. Lost both of the all-ins I went, and that were both a flip. It's not a very soft heat,
Well,
so
that was
that's
simple, even
unfortunate.
for you. Give me a moment to
But,
decipher
you know,
the security.
it's poker.
So Bagley, can't be too careful at the Bart's team. Mary can kill all her captors with the push of a button.
We're in
If we
London
tried to
for this
free them
season's
now, they're
Premier
good as
League, where
dead.
Poker's Elite
She
are
doesn't
doing
know.
battle for one of the most coveted titles in the game. Group A is in action
We
here
know
in
you're
Asper's
behind the
Casino
embassy
in Westfield,
bombings and the
Stratford
earlier
City,
ones
as they
too.
compete for points
So
on the
never
league
mind
table.
the
Let's
bollocks.
rejoin Jessie
Start
May, Bill
yapping.
Locke,
The
and
earlier
Jennifer
bombings, what are
Tilly.
you... Oh, God, I've been captured by morons. I didn't do those bombings. I tried to stop those bombings. I am a patriot, and they call me a crank. Even Emma. But that's when I knew that intelligence wasn't enough.
32K, that
To
means he has
save
5
the
orbits and
Empire,
he's out. So
I
he's
would
gotta
need
get in
power.
there.
Yeah, but he's
and
got like
But you
12
already
big
knew
blinds.
about
That's
Zero
not
Day.
survival
I'm a
mode for Phil
spy.
Hellman.
So
Hellman doesn't go into
yes,
survival
I
mode
knew
until
a
he gets down
few
to like
details
4.
about the biggest terrorist attack
Right
in
now he
recent
thinks he's got 100
Truth to
big
tell,
blinds, you know?
I really did think Zero Day was you.
Look at all these weird little
That's just
spots like
Occam's
ace, queen,
razor.
and
But if you insist on a conspiracy, Albion stood the most to gain. Have you really not thought of this?
Of course we
Antonio
have.
has queen jack.
But that doesn't change what you've done.
Yeah.
Enough to let you rot in here.
Oh, I doubt I'll be here
They
long.
believe that Negreanu
These
is the
walls
kind
will
of
fall
guy
along with
who is
all of you
very
soon
willing
enough.
to lay
This
down
radical
the
cooperative you've created is doomed to fail, like they all are. I've seen it a dozen times in a dozen places. You will tear yourselves apart. You won't even need Zero Day or Albion or whoever. A single unified ideology, a single...
That's pretty hard to fold.
Look at the pot. It's 430K. I mean, it's monster.
It is, and if Trickett goes out here, he'll be left with 3 points. Not a terrible start, but certainly not as good as he had thought. And Negreanu, if he can hold up this
I know, and
ace-queen...
remember how thin Negreanu was with chips earlier? He's just been hanging.
Oh!
What is this? Holy cow! And there's 3 clubs, and Trickett has the ace of clubs locked up too. So Negreanu has only 6%.
Queen of clubs too. Right.
Wow.
Oh man. How much you got?
Oh wow.
Wow.
Sometimes poker just is not fair.
200 and damn Trickett, ladies and gentlemen. I
206.
I got actually. You always have the best hands.
Never get it in bad. I normally just have a good hand. That's what happens when I. That's what happens when I get in a hand. I get it in bad. Wow, I didn't see that one coming. Daniel was talking. He was normally saying he was not going to lose.
You know, I felt it.
You didn't believe it.
No, those are the ones I've been losing. Actually, the last 3 years, those are the ones that have been hurting me the most. 2-1 favorite, like that, the World Series and stuff.
Look at Negreanu was about to have 430, 530, 597.
Wow.
Negreanu almost had 600 right there. Now he's back to 167.
You know, I don't remember Negreanu ever catching a break in this Premier League.
No.
You know, he's got to show a little character here, and he is.
Yeah, but he made the mistake of taunting the gods with talking about I'm due and all that stuff. And the gods, they...
Oh, the gods, they were asleep, and then they woke up and they said, what did he say half an hour ago?
Yeah, they listened to their messages. And Jennifer's right. They tuned in late.
Hold
they
on
read
a
the live...
You're
You
so
must
true.
be punished.
They return every voicemail call, the poker gods.
They do. You gotta be careful.
Wow, here
So
we've
now
got
here's 2
another
players that have
epic
history.
battle.
And Duhamel has one of those funky hands that like
that can
Hey, look,
actually
they're talking about our
block
friend Malik on the GBB.
It's a blocker, isn't it?
Right.
He's trying to raise an amount.
Other
where
documents in the
Duhamel
Malik
received their full
dossier,
equity,
which were
but
released
Duhamel
by the
just gave it to
organization
Kel.
known as
If you rewind the
DedSec.
keyboard, you'll see that
Officially,
Dalton was-
SIRS
This, by the way,
This might be the end of
Due to
Triple.
the veracity of the documents, those sources within the organization claim that Richard Malik himself has fled the country following what one described as an unprecedented and humiliating data breach. As more of the dossier is independently verified, Counter-terror experts speculate that the bombings earlier this year may have also been misattributed to DedSec.
Well, I think it's not a bad idea.
He can go 115, but he has to call. The stocks are too small. He has to.
But he's done that to induce. He has not done that to pass, right?
Well, it's interesting. Antonio does have 345. He made it how much? Yeah, he has to call.
Don't just blunder in. Hack the building CTOS hub and see what to expect once you're inside.
He's calling.
Not a bad
idea.
Yeah, to 113. Now he's priced in. If Antonio shoves, he's calling. It's just now. It's just, you know. Ooh. Now Sam knows he's beat, but he has to call. Let's see.
He certainly does.
So he was hoping it was a race, and now he's got the bad news.
He's kind of gotten on the wrong end of some of these
That's
tonight.
a tough spot. He was admittedly in a tough spot, and that hurt.
No 10, Mom. No 10. She's gonna have a heart attack. Mom, don't have a heart attack, okay?
Oh, that's a
And I'm not actually sure if Trickett does even cover Antonio
got
here.
the flush draw.
Well, you are in the club business.
He is.
Don't succeed.
He's got the flush.
Please.
I think.
Now it's 2 outs.
Yeah, down to 2-8.
Don't do it.
Oh my God! I told you, when you say no 10, it makes it 10 materialize. Never say no 10.
Yeah, you want to say queen or 3. You want to say the cards you want,
All
not
the
the ones you
poker
don't
gods
want.
here is 10.
Right, they don't know yes
yeah,
and
was
no.
someone calling for a 10?
The poker gods have said their piece, and look at Sam Trickett.
On the river.
Sam Trickett has 876,000.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Okay, we're even now. We're 1 draw.
He's been waiting to say that again.
Obviously, he'll be upset to be out in 6th place, Antonio, but 3 points, very workable beginning.
Yeah. And Helmuth has got to be so happy.
Talk to me about how the heat went for you.
It went pretty well. I felt like I was playing pretty well, and everything was going my way here and there, and I was picking my spots pretty carefully, so I liked it. Finally picked up 2 queens, and I got it all in. So whatever, that's it. That's poker.
I think this is very unexpected. The people that are out already, and the people that are.
And that hand, that card, so edgy, sitting on the last card,
The
2 outs,
last
like
card,
6%.
that was so evil.
And look at the old guys, Negreanu and Helmuth in there with the short stack.
Just surviving, getting points, getting points.
Which is
You know, it doesn't matter how
crucial.
good you play, it matters how many points you collect. By the way, I don't like this
I'm in
play.
the system.
Raised a half a stack,
It's all
just
the
put it all
names,
in, Helmut.
places,
Like, what
dates,
is that? You
whatever
put in
information you
61.
can in there. We need to...
I'll tell you what I'm not going to do. I'm definitely not going to call. I won.
Aye, no one's here yet. Good thing, too. Champagne.
When this goes all in, can he ever
know
go?
how to
no.
like
He's in. He's in.
We end up a Pete with it.
Well, learn from Trickett, Helmuth.
Learn
Learn from the master. Get a 3 on the river.
Just sit there stoically.
Nah, she ain't. Not for this lot, at least, which is
Well,
fine
we have
with
the
me.
black nine, so that's
She's the boss and all, but exactly.
I mean, Phil's going to be quite
Always
happy
on
with 5th
eggshells.
place
Oh,
here.
yeah,
4
absolutely.
points is...
Yeah, he was dead the whole time.
There's
and
no
he
way
got
you can fold your pocket 3.
You know, on Phil Helmut's website, he has the 2 black 9s in his hand. It's a famous hand.
Yeah, you did.
You can definitely start shaking hands now,
Wow.
Phil.
Yeah. You
Wow,
don't see this
I
one
don't
too
know.
often.
Well, you moved up a couple spots. I played so good. I'm so proud of my play. You got points. Good luck, everybody. All right.
I've been a bit frustrated. I played like as good as I could play and dodged like a couple of big bolts there. I mean, I picked up 2 nice pairs and both times someone had an overpair. And I think the rest of the field goes broke with the 8s against the aces. So I feel really good about that dodge. I feel like I guess I should be proud. I'm really playing great, and there's 3 more heats.
All the people that are left, except Duamo, were struggling the entire match, and now they're the ones that are left. Duamo was always ahead.
It goes to show you, right?
Yeah.
It's survival. This whole thing, it's just survived. And when you get a good hand, you might just win it.
Come on, look at the camera.
Good type
Strike.
though, no matter what. And I think someone might have seen my cards.
Stand up now.
You know, when your cards like flip up a little bit.
Yeah, you do wonder how much equity's in a pot like that. Difference between Esfandiari
We
going
must
out.
check this. Chances are good the basement will be locked. Chances are equally good that one of these knobheads left their access code laying around somewhere.
15 to 25. 32 from first. Probably 20k about.
Thanks for the cellar key, knobhead.
Okay, now I don't mind this. This is fine. It's five-handed, or sorry, it's four-handed. This is King
Four-handed,
10. You
King
gotta
10 is
call.
a good hand,
You
yeah.
gotta defend the big blind with King 10 off.
Against a small blind open, yep.
And there it is. He's got a nice hand, and they both have nice hands, by the way.
It's time to move the money in,
A little
right?
action here, yeah.
Well, Negrano loves this hand. He's over cards and that flush draw. He can't lose. One way to bet it is all in. Another way is to, you know, bet partial and get it all in. Duhamel might be forced to shove it. I mean, if you call with King 10 here.
Yeah, he doesn't want a diamond to peel up.
It's 238. He's got a 740. I think he's supposed to shove the whole fat stack.
I think so, yeah.
No pair. That's good.
But it's interesting. Negrano's still a favorite in spite of the meanness of Duhamel.
56%. Wow.
Let me buy some slaves while I sip my champagne. Should I get a side order of livers to take away? Fucking sickening.
Keep your head. If we try anything before disabling the microchips, Mary Kelly is liable to purge her inventory.
He's down to 35%.
Wow.
Hang on, Phil.
Let's see what happens.
Oh my God, I missed
Taxi!
Wow.
I'm coming with
That
you
was
guys.
fast.
I didn't think that was going to happen.
I did not. It looked like he was a favorite.
It goes quick. It'll be $1 million just for Duhamel in fourth place for Daniel Negreanu.
That hand was very standard in every way.
Yeah.
It comes 3 diamonds with a 10. Those flips. You gotta win those flips.
So 6 points, a great start for Daniel Negreanu.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Duhamel's now tilted. He's the first player over $1 million.
And things are really starting to pick up speed at the table. We've just lost Daniel as well. Is it a function of the raising blinds and the smaller average stack that we're seeing?
Yeah, what you're going to have when you have a really tough heat like this with 8 really good players is early on, nobody's going to go broke. Everybody needs the points. What that does is makes all the stacks shallower, so when blinds go up, everyone's short, and it starts to go bang, bang, bang.
And it seems like someone made a rule
So
at the
this
beginning
is the
where
golden
you had to show
goose.
your cards if you
An online store for just about anything dodgy.
Well, it changes
Organs, drugs, weapons, live humans.
I suggest washing your hands after this. Well, here's something
Now it
interesting.
changes the psychological dynamic because everyone sees, oh, just re-raising the 7 off. What's he going to do? That's really, with really talking players,
This is the Uncultured Premier League. Before the break, we saw Antonio Esfandiari, Phil Hellmuth, and Daniel Negreanu knocked out of their first league match in back-to-back hands. Now, 3 players remain, and they are each gunning for maximum points to go straight to the top of the league.
From no standard, it goes quick. Consent.
One way.
I think he'll.
It might be to, you know, bet partial and get it all in.
Queen
Duhamel might be
is
forced to shove
sovereign,
it. I mean, if you call with King 10 here.
autonomous.
Yeah, he doesn't want a diamond to peel
It's
off.
238. He's got a 740. I think he's supposed to shove the whole fat stack.
I think so, yeah.
Oh, I know a good deal when I hear one. Fireworks are on the way.
But it's interesting, Negrano's still a favorite in spite of the meanness of
Oh,
Duhamel.
56%. Wow.
Ah, this is the nail in her coffin.
Hang on that
Mary
cat.
Kelly supplied the explosives for the bombings. And that's the slaves and the organ market. She is
How can I
done.
miss? There's no way.
That's
Yeah,
an
it feels
interesting
like
turn of
Negrano's
events.
got
So Mary isn't Zero Day, but she's involved.
He's down to
I have to admit,
35%.
Zero Day's plan to cover their tracks was clever, and it worked. Even I didn't suspect this, and I suspect a lot of things.
Let's not lose sight of what we're
That was
doing
fast.
here. We need everything on the golden
I did
goose for
not.
Caitlin's
Yeah.
case.
Looked like he was a favorite.
It goes quick. It'll be $1 million just for Duhamel in fourth place for Daniel Negreanu.
That hand was very standard in every way.
Yeah.
It comes 3 diamonds with a 10. Those flips. You gotta win those flips.
So 6 points, a great start for Daniel Negreanu.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Duhamel's now tilted. He's the first player over $1 million.
and things are really starting to pick up speed at the table. We've just lost Daniel as well. Is it a function of the raising blinds and the smaller average stack that we're seeing?
Yeah, what you're going to have when you have a really tough heat like this with 8 really good players is early on, nobody's going to go broke. Everybody needs the points. What that does is makes all the stacks shallower, so when the blinds go up, everyone's short and it starts to go bang, bang, bang.
And it seemed like someone made a rule at the beginning where you had to show your cards if you got to the flop. How does that change the game, in your opinion?
Well, it changes a little bit, because, you know, if you were making a bunch of moves and nobody's calling you and nobody's getting to know what you're doing, you can kind of get away with a little more. But now it changes the psychological dynamic. If everyone sees, oh, he just re-raised me with 7 deuce offsuit, what's he going to do next? It doesn't really, with really top-end players, it doesn't hurt anyone really, because it's all just a leveling game.
The action has really picked up pace here as we've lost 3 players in back-to-back hands. Join us after the break to find out who will be the next out in Group A's first league match.
This is the Party Poker Premier League. Before the break, we saw Antonio Esfandiari, Phil Hellmuth, and Daniel Negreanu knocked out of their first league match in back-to-back hands. Now, 3 players remain, and they are each gunning for maximum points to go straight to the top of the league.
10-6 clubs, I like this play. And now 3-handed ace-6 is a different beast. It's now a real hand.
All 3 of these guys obviously quite happy to get the point spots, but the difference between getting 8 here for third and 16 is kind of a cruiser. Like you say, you're not guaranteed, but it's kind of a cruiser.
Yep, it's true. And this is strictly a value play that if it gets re-shoved on him, he will fold. But it's strictly like, this is my pot, you shouldn't be taking it. But he will fold if Duhamel wants to bluff here. There's a fold in. Yeah, but he's not going to do it.
I want to see your hand.
Oh, but he can't see it.
They're not doing the see the hand
only if the flop comes.
Oh, I
only
see.
if the flop comes.
Okay. I'm unclear of the game.
If there's a flop, you got to show.
Trickett, of course, people know him. He's won a bunch of UK television tournaments, the World Open, and did well in the Premier League last season. But I think, and obviously the one drop, that most people don't see a lot of Sam because he spends so much time in Macau playing the highest stake cash games in the world. I mean, he's really entered that arena, Phil.
Yeah, they play high there. They play regularly. When the big game goes off, it's 1,000, 2,000 American dollars about, sometimes 2,000.
4 bananas, 8 bananas, and I mean,
that's a lot.
There are people,
you're buying in for £250,000, that kind of thing.
There are people talking about Sam Trickett as one of the best cash game no limit hold'em players in the world, especially when it comes to the highest stakes.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Quite a lot of respect from him.
Yep. This is funny. Like, this is a big hand, but I like that fold. There's a bunch of action and calls and raises. Like,
I don't know. I think it would be pretty hard to get away from a A7 pre-flop 3-handed, but he managed to do it. Yeah.
Well, he's a ton of chips. He doesn't mind if one of these guys busts the other guy. That's something going in his favor. He gets more. But it's not a very durable hand. He would surely have played 7-10 of clubs, but I just don't see him playing the. And look at 7-10 of clubs. That's a hand here. Look at 9-6 is a hand.
Right.
Ace-3 is not a hand.
Second time that Trickett has.
That is why you're supposed to bet your King-8 and your 9-6, because Ace-3 of hearts would have folded, and now he's going to check call.
It's a little bit deceptive from Marvin. I mean, I think in a vacuum you'd think that from the small blind flatting, he doesn't have nearly as many aces in his range as he does like Broadway cards and that sort of thing. Do you agree with that, or? He's got a lot of suited aces here. Maybe he does.
Yeah. He's gonna have suited aces. He's gonna have a whole wide range. A lot of people play the ace.
Heads up, it's hard to represent the ace because the likelihood is that the other person doesn't have it. So if Marvin bets here, it's gonna be very difficult for Trickett to believe that he actually hit his ace. So he probably will get paid off.
And Sam's hating life right now, right? He's pretty much, he's done with this hand.
Right.
Unless Marvin bets.
He doesn't see himself getting called by a weaker hand. So he's just going to see if his hand's good. You know, I mean, well, maybe 9-Jack and King 8 are going to call, but really, I mean, they're probably going to fold, so he's just going to check.
Yeah, he was just considering the options. He was thinking the only way I'm going to win this is to bet at it.
Well, twice now, Sam Trickett has checked back the top pair on the flop, and twice it's blown up in his face.
Yeah, that's the danger. You know, he's trying. I don't mind the play, actually. I mean, it's fun. You can bet it, but that's a very close call. I don't mind checking, but it's a standard line is to bet it and just defend against overcards that could peel and help your opponent.
Raise 25,000.
Marvin's calling with the Jack 7. This is a must defend. You're three-handed. It's a good hand anyways. I mean, it's 40% of a straight flush. It's suited. It's, I don't know, I would call. But I'm not sure it's right. I do it. It's three-handed. You have to defend wider.
You got to play something.
I might lead here. These brick boards, people hate them. People hate. When somebody bets at that and I have anything that's not an ace, I'm always sick. You know, that's an Irish flop pot bet standard.
He's very aggressive at pots, Duhamel. You can see the real high points of his game, which is just he's relentless.
Yeah, I guess if you have ace queen or better, you're supposed to check raise a guy like Duhamel, and with
yeah, I agree.
Ace, I don't know. It's hard for me to get away from an ace there if I have an ace.
Marvin has pocket sixes.
Well, Marvin's
but he's
thinking about
probably not
re-raise
gonna hit
because
a
on the
set.
button, Marvin makes this raise with sixes, and that's this is going to put Marvin in a tough spot because he knows he might be winning. Right?
I think he might shove here.
He might shove. I would shove.
He's gonna have a count first.
It's definitely super above his top of his range.
Right, and it's three-handed. Sixes
He's
are
only
are
losing
huge
over pairs.
three-handed.
The rest he's racing. It's okay. He is third in chips anyways. And
Yeah, and he's got fold equity.
Is it a few too many chips to shove with?
Well, yeah,
I
he's
don't
going to
think
be
you can
sometimes
call.
in the spot like where
Yeah.
Antonio had queens and Trickett had tens. You're going to find yourself looking at down the barrel of jacks sometimes, but it's three-handed. It's different. I think sixes now. By the way, if he folds sixes here, it's a hero fold. He's thinking, can I fold? Is this a hero fold? Is it correct to fold? But he's probably going to go all in.
Yeah, I think with all in. Yeah, there you go, all in.
You know, it's a big.
He can't call. He either has to fold.
King queen might be priced into call. How much is it more? No, maybe it's a fold. How much does
Bradley,
he
were
have
you
to
able
call?
to recover any data?
Oh no, he's not going to call. I don't think he's going to call.
It's a little too big, isn't it?
Yep, because
yeah, it was a game changer.
anytime
for
he's
sure.
against the value hand, he's maybe not racing. He's maybe just in a 30% spot because the value shoves are ace queen, ace king, pocket queens. You know.
Duhamel already showed strength by re-raising, so now Rettenmeyer's coming over the top. He's saying,
Look at
I know
his
you think
face.
you're
It's like a
strong, but
little
I have a
9-year-old
better
that
hand.
he looks like a 9-year-old that got into grandma's cookie jar, got some cookies. Mom came around the corner the last second. He's sitting there with the cookies in his hands like, okay, all right. I have no story here. I got to get out. Grandma caught me. Mom caught me. I'm done.
But it looks like he's quite aware that Rettenmeyer could have a hand as bad as sixes. I mean, it doesn't look like he's blown away with his all-in.
And he would never give all these facial ticks if it wasn't, you know, it doesn't matter if he does them because it's just call or fold at this point. But
Three-handed king queen is a really strong hand, and so is pocket sixes.
But for the stack
Look
that's
at him.
going in,
He's like, I just feel like maybe looking a little stupid here one time.
440.
Oh, he folded.
I think it's a good fold. Too many times. I like that fold Duhamel made there. I think it's. I like the raise too. I like the raise and the fold.
You know, in the scarf tying department, Mad Marvin really has no equal. I mean, Jungleman, you see him crumble up after the break? The scarf just went like all over the place. His neck was open.
To be fair, Jungle has his scarf on too tight, and Marvin has it on just the right tightness.
Just right. He's like the baby bear.
Well, Europeans have it all over on us Americans with the scarf
I've got
tying.
coordinates
It's in
for
the
the golden
culture.
goose.
Ah, there's Rettenmeyer.
He's more ominous there than in the...
Everyone looks more ominous in black and white.
That's true. That's true.
Except for Zebra.
It's more ominous in black and white.
That's true. That's true.
Except for Zebra.
That's true also. Just a minute.
See, that's a limb raise. And you know, on the button you can limb raise just about anything. This is fine, three-handed. But if you do it too often, people will re-raise you with thin.
Yeah, but I think,
or they'll, you know.
Duhamel is the kind of guy who once is too often. You know, he's not.
Right.
He comes in with a chip on his shoulder. You know, like he's never seen an entire table before.
I think Duhamel correctly calls. Duhamel's in the big blind here, and this, and you know, the small blind folded. It's. I think I would just call here too. I like the call. Of course, he's going to lose now if there's any c-betting action from the Jack 7. But he has a hand. If he missed, he might bet, but he actually has a hand that can beat pair of 8s now, and a beat pair of 7s. He might just check it. I think check's good.
All three of these guys seem to
we
like
need
their
that server data.
flop, which
Once
makes
we
it fun,
have it,
'cause
I'll
they're
take
all
it to the
looking
Attorney
get in
General's
flop,
office.
turn, river
Mary Kelly
situation.
This
is
a
going
great
down
card
for all
because
of this.
if Trickett was winning, he's still
Can't
winning.
leave that
you know?
bloody
If
website
Trickett was
online.
losing,
We'll have to
it's
shut
not
it
like he didn't
down.
change anything.
That and the microchip
winner is still
control
winning.
relay.
Duhamel
Otherwise,
has
the
had it,
chipped
but
people
now he
will
can
be as good as
keep
dead.
small and call.
Next stop, Neogate. It seems Mary hid the Golden
I feel
Goose
like
service
this
in
is
the heart
a
of a
tough call, 'cause you know
cybersecurity
32
software
call
company.
means
I
you might
don't
have to
condone
call,
her actions, but I must
140
applaud the
on the
method.
street. But I still think.
But then Trickett's got to be
think you gotta
thinking,
call.
well, I checked the flop, so he's thinking
Gotta
so we can
admit,
have
this
part of
whole
it.
dead
This is
set
how he's
thing
picking up the chips
got me
by
chuffed.
interrupting his hand by check.
And I'm bleeding good, hasn't it?
This is like a Phil Hellmuth
You
style
wouldn't have
too.
been
This is
recruited
where
if DedSec
you're
thought you'd be
collecting
killed
chips
that
by
easily.
getting the guy to.
Oh, good.
This again is a good
A
card, but
snarky
not a good card.
sidekick
It's both.
AI.
Oh wow, look at
That's
this.
gonna
We have a
take
new
some
winner.
getting used to.
Duhamel's 100%.
That's not a good
I was thinking the bad board,
Wow.
normally the board pairing wouldn't matter, but it happens to be an overpair, and there's already a paired board. You can only afford the board pairing once, and it's happened twice now.
If Trickett bets, well, Duhamel's probably might be betting to call. If Trickett bets, he might be able to take it away.
Got a potential recruit for you. I'll mark them on your map.
His hand. It just clattered it.
I think he's just.
Well,
I think he's done with the hand. I don't know.
Well, Duhamel's got to think, like, what does he have? A queen, a king? Maybe check the turn because he has a king, and there's a
Right,
queen there.
he could tell a story if I have a king, because you know he can just say all in.
They know he checks back top pair on the flop.
Right.
But isn't he better off giving up here?
I give up.
Yeah, because he's got to be asking himself what did Duhamel lead out with, and.
But he's gonna turn his hand into a bluff. It looks. No, he's not gonna. I don't think he should. I think he should give up. He's still got some chips, whatever.
Well,
Things
there's
went wrong.
140 in the pot. If he sticks in 80,000, does Duhamel call?
I think,
he's
yeah.
gonna check.
I was gonna say.
I don't know. I don't know. He probably could have got it through. Maybe. You know, people call it that ace high when the board pairs like 4s and then there's 6s on there. So it's 6s, 6, 4, 4. But when the Broadway cards are starting to pair up, people are concerned because people are trying to play Broadway cards. You know.
And that's the volatility of Sam's game. I mean, if you always are going to check back your hands on the flop there, you're going to win money, but you're also going to open yourself up to losing a bunch of pots, right? I mean,
well, no. To be fair, he had position. He opened with any 2 cards, fine, and then he hit a jack and he checked for value, and then he called for value, and then he gave up for value. He did everything right. He played it good, I think. I liked how he played at each street, actually. Queen 3, I like that, raising the button. It's a name hand, Queen tray.
you know, I'm still calling it P-King. I mean, that's, you know.
Look at this. Now, 7s is a super real hand. He decides to just flat. Trickett is set paddling, or trying to go for super low flop. And boom. Queen likes his hand. Rettenmeyer is the button, boys and girls, which means he's gonna check it for value. He doesn't want to lose.
Trickett's going to take a path here, isn't he?
I'm here.
NeoGame haven't been around for long, but they're leading the antivirus market. I bet the Kellys have something to do with this growing success. Regardless, we're about to destroy all of it.
Listen, I want that as bad as you do. But let's gather all the evidence we can before blowing it up. This is what we've been chasing after this whole time.
I suggest hacking the camera network to see what's what.
I've seen these kind of folds once in a while, but I think you just call. It's just too often your opponent has a king of clubs with, like, you know, a 9 of something. Just trying to... I like this call. He doesn't, if a club comes, he will give up the hand because he's thinking my opponent's probably got a club draw. Okay, this is it's 2 hero value left. Unless a club appears, which means Rettenmeyer is the butt. They're trying to go for super real hand.
Still calling it P-King. I mean that's, you know.
Look at this. Now 7s is a super real hand. He decides to just flat. Trigger is set. The queen likes his hand. Rettenmeyer is the...
Trigger's going to take a bath here, isn't he?
Unless a club appears, he's going to think about a 7 or a club.
Well, it depends.
I think he's going to bet a value left blocker bet. Value left blocker bet, whatever it's called.
I think Trick is probably going to keep the pot as small as he possibly can.
This would be a weird hero fold, but I've seen these kind of folds once in a while, but I think you just call. It's just the hand, because he's okay for Marvin. He's going to check call, I think.
It's great. It's like 3 of the most aggressive players in the game have just become, you know, perennial checkers. I mean, they're outdoing each other with the slow play, where it's really pot control, I guess.
Now, Trickett is only thinking, can I turn this in? What real hands might he fold? And there's not many, so he's going to check, you know.
He's probably going to check.
It's a good check, and I think Rettenmeyer's going to check and just see if he's got the best hand. I wouldn't blame a guy for betting for value here, but I wouldn't.
I think he
personally.
Might bet.
I don't think he has to, Phil. I mean, you know, Trickett's never going to have a queen with a better kicker here, ever, is he?
I wouldn't bet. I think it's just open you're going to win it with the fold. You don't have to show
also, too, if they have a queen, then the jack is the kicker. So...
Yeah, unless it's like queen, king or something. I just think I don't like this play because, you know, he might check with a 4-high flush. He might check with a 10-8 kicker. But by the way, that's not like a bad bet because 10-8 kicker. You know, he might check with a 4-high flush. He might check with a 10-8 kicker. You know, he might check with a 4-high flush like queen, king or something. I just don't like this play with the queen and not many, so he's going to check, you know.
He's probably going to check.
It's a good check, and I think Rettenmeyer's going to check and just see if he's got the best hand. I wouldn't blame a guy for betting for value here, but I wouldn't.
I think
personally.
Bet.
I don't think he has to, Phil. I mean, you know, Trickett's never going to have a queen with a better kicker here, ever, is he?
I wouldn't bet. I think it's just open you're going to win it with the fold. You don't have to show
also, too, if they have a queen, then the jack is the kicker. So...
Yeah, unless it's like queen, king or something. I just think I don't like this play because, you know, he might check with a 4-high flush. He might check with a 10-8 kicker. But by the way, that's not like a bad bet because you're just getting folds a lot. But I think you're opening the door a little bit too much with the thin. You're thin betting there, really.
We're reaching the conclusion of our first league match, and with our remaining players battling for maximum points to get their Premier League campaign off to a flying start, things are getting tense out on the felt. We'll be back with more action in just a moment.
Very close right now. Duhamel dipped under $1 million, and Trickett, the nominal short stack.
And now it seems like it's... See, these stacks, they all got thick with chips. Now there's like a lot of... We're going to see a lot of hands before an explosion. We have to have real hand versus real hand.
I wonder, you know, in these players' hands, Phil, you almost feel like we could see a situation where hand v hand doesn't get all the chips in. There's a lot of checking back streets, and these guys...
Now, we've played a long time. We've played 113 hands, and the most aggressive player with the most voluntarily putting chips into the pot remaining is the person with the most chips. Jonathan has the most chips. He's been the most aggressive. He's voluntarily committed pots more than the others. You know?
That's the math. That's the math you can't argue, right? The most aggressive guy picks up the most chips.
There's a lesson to
It's
be
a
learned
lot
from
of
this,
time.
ladies and gentlemen.
But earlier that wasn't happening, but towards the end it's going to start happening because.
Check. Hold on.
But he's chosen his points of aggression so delicately and so precisely, where he either had the best hand or his opponent would fold.
Some hacker's driving that thing around.
Which is awesome poker.
And you can see Trickett balancing there, this three-handed. He limped from the small blind last round with the 5-6. This time with the ace-7, he's trying to mix it up.
Small blind, he just flatted. He small flatted, yeah. And now a 4 for either one is a straight. Marvin can feel the strength of his hand. I think he's gonna call here. He's just gonna flat.
Is it something like 6 out of the last 7 bets have come from the player with the worst hand?
It's so
something
incredible.
like that.
But for sure, this is just gonna be, you know, a call. And if he should hit a 5, he might lead out or something, or a 4. Yeah, this is a good call. I think Trickett's pretty much done once he hits a 7, ace, or a 4. I don't really.
Geez, at some point somebody's gonna have to barrel through the river.
This is the Nutter Butter best card Marvin could open. Marvin didn't even want a straight. He wants this card. Let's. But I actually think Trickett's gonna shut down because any hand would call. Like a jack is gonna call once, so he's just done. And Marvin's gonna bet, and Trickett will fold.
Yeah, he didn't even need that 5.
Now I see. He's got that same look he had when he had the 4 kings. Well, he always has that look.
But Marvin does give off an energy vibe as a cash live player when I look at him. Like, he knows he's winning. It's trivial in his mind. He knew it in a quarter of a second. I have 3 of a kind. I'm crushing. But look at the space, the timing spaces that he's leaving. He's letting his opponent gestate and think maybe he's bluffing. Look at his movement, everything. It's the kind of movement that I think is going to get more calls, honestly.
Well,
it's not
also
tossing his chips out.
Yes.
It's kind of like it looks kind of awkward and not natural, and therefore people might think, well, you can't have a hand that looks so unnatural.
when I first started playing poker online and I didn't have a hand, I would just fold. And Phil came around the corner and he saw me and he said, never do that. He said, you have to pause. You have to have them associate with you like fear and discomfort. And I think that a lot of times in a live game that's true. It's like if you sort of a little bit don't insta-fold, the person starts to associate a feeling uncomfortableness and fear with play being enhanced with you. And
Right,
they
and
start
see
to
how
avoid those
Marvin
types of
suspended out the
situations.
time, like he's got the best hand, he makes it last longer.
There's a lot of checking back streets, and these
Now
guys.
we've played a long time. We've played 113 hands, and the most aggressive player with the most voluntarily putting chips into the pot remaining is the person with the most chips. Jonathan has the most chips. He's been the most aggressive. He's voluntarily committed pots more than the others. You know?
That's the math. That's the math you can't argue, right? The most aggressive guy picks up the most chips.
There's a lesson to
It's
be
a
learned
lot
from
of
this,
time.
ladies and gentlemen.
But earlier that wasn't happening, but towards the end it's going to start happening. But he's chosen his points of aggression so delicately and so precisely, where he either had the best hand or his opponent would fold.
And you think this is
I
a
think
no-brainer for Trickett?
I think
He's feed from a sub-basement under the server room. Anyone up for some light
Yeah,
entertainment?
he's been very active, I don't know, but he hasn't shown any bluff, but I would still do it. I would put it in personally.
Well, he's re-raised it to 82K. So
Remember, there's a wide range of hands where he can do this.
Yeah.
King, Queen, Marvin's going to re-raise. He's going to re-raise with 2 8s, 2 9s. You know.
quickly or contaminate the
Oh my god.
I feel
This
like
is where they implant the
Trickett is going to
microchips.
look for
Test
another
them.
way.
Bagley, capture all this footage.
I don't know if
It's all going into my case file.
Oh,
Here's another. I'm glad to see they're trying to keep things
by the way, a lot
sterile.
of people
Don't want to
yell at
risk
me, how could you
infection.
ever, you don't get involved with ace-10, but this is not 8-handed. 8-handed, it's a fold. 3-handed, I think it's a call.
And
That's me.
concern over the possibility of damaging the valuable merchandise, the eyes being the most vulnerable. Initial findings indicate the microcharge may be the problem.
Looks like he's fighting
Although
his
the
instinct
damage
a
to the
little
lowest
bit
stem
here.
is minimal, it's
He's
enough
thinking about
to
the
trigger
10s,
strong
how he got it in
convulsions.
wrong, and then got lucky. He's thinking, I have a lot of chips right now. I have 585,000.
There's a
Why
special place in
do I
hell
get
for all the
too
people
carried
involved
away?
in this operation.
You've got all the Golden Goose data along with this footage. Plus, you have her conspiring and the bombings. That must be enough to put Mary away.
He won't. If he
I
gets
hope
it in
so.
and he's wrong,
Now,
he's
how about
covered. He's
blowing
in
that
third
shit up
place.
and disabling those microchips?
Well, I mean, is there a
Get in,
problem,
my
Phil, that he
son.
knows that if he shoves here, every time he gets called, he's in bad shape?
Yeah,
or
he
is
knows
that just...
Yeah, that's a huge part of it. It's why it's such a problematic. But I think he's still got to put it in.
he looks so sick about it.
Because he knows what could happen.
I mean, he feels the strength rolling off of Rettenmeier.
But I don't think that, no matter what you feel, you still have to do the right thing.
He's
and this
hoping Rettenmeier has 8s or 9s or...
Yeah, and he's forgotten about
maybe
them.
even ace-jack or something that he'll fold to a re-raise. But he knows Rettenmeier is strong. But I think he's hoping he has a smallish pocket pair that he can... See, he wants to put it all in. He's just like... He's like raised.
Now what? If he had snapped all in, it would have given Trickett a chance to fold. But he's doing
He made it 157K.
No, he's doing the whole like.
But if
he's all
Rettenmeier
100%.
goes all in, then he's kind of pot committed, right, Sam?
Oh, Trickett's always called. I mean, I think he only does this to induce. That's his style, the same way he did with the 10s. And he's going to be a bit sick out of it, but he's not backing off. In today's game, you can't really back off against these. Once you get started.
Three-handed ace 10,
Yeah.
40% of a royal flush. How are you gonna fold?
I mean, God, you'd fold ace king in these. I mean,
Okay. You caught me in my trap.
Here we go. And Trickett forgot the most important part about this. If you're behind, just dog them.
Wow.
Ooh,
And now it's
7,
tricky.
8, 9, 10. Wow.
That's very
That's
interesting.
a great flop for
and
him.
he ace, jack, 6.
But now he's only 29%.
Yeah, he's dropped because it's
well,
not.
the jack is out.
Don't fold ace.
And
Yeah.
40% of a royal flush. How are you gonna fold?
I mean, God, you'd fold ace king in these. I mean,
Okay. You caught me in my trap.
Here we go. And Trickett forgot the most important.
Okay. You caught me in my trap.
Here we go. And Trickett forgot the most important part about this. If you're behind, just dog them.
How are you gonna fold?
I mean, God, you'd fold ace king. Trickett forgot the most important.
Okay. You caught me in my trap.
Here we go. And Trickett forgot the most important part about this. If you're behind, just dog them. Forgot the most important part about this. If you're behind, just dog them.
Wow.
Ooh,
And now it's
7,
tricky.
8, 9, 10. Wow.
That's very
That's
interesting.
a great flop for
and
him.
he ace, jack, 6.
But now he's only 29%.
Yeah, he's dropped because it's
well,
not.
the jack, his outs are blocked on one side.
6. It's a straight.
Wow.
He needs a 10 to win. Wow. That's so. Look at
Look at his face.
They
6,
both.
7,
The 6 is there. They both can see that Trickett's just won this
Right,
huge pot,
that's
and neither one's saying a word.
Wow.
Those are two pros.
Wow.
Professional sweaters.
Yeah.
But for Marvin,
It's
that
all
hurt.
over. Marvin's out now.
Is he
No,
out?
he's not. No, he's not.
Oh
out.
wow, he has 187 left.
Yeah.
Determined to make bad decisions today.
For all intents and purposes, he's out.
And now every decision Marvin makes is just all in.
Marvin's dead man walking. As you can see, a lot of people can make lemonade out of lemons, but I think ultimately you have to have a certain amount of luck and win the races. And
So right now there's 24 plus 6, which is 30 out there. If Marvin wins one of these hands, he goes from 190 to 220, which is 20. 10, that's like 13% increase or 12, whatever it is. So 10% increase or more in your stack's a lot for him right now, and he's going to be looking to shove.
He needs to go animal here.
2 Broadway cards, any pair. That might even get it, although it's tougher now that's been raised in the button.
All in.
He has an ace. He might just fold this one.
Call. Like that.
Okay, that's going to be really hard for the 4 to catch up. He has to essentially do magic now. He's
right.
They say it's 0%, but it's not. He can get 4-4 and win it. Oh, there's the
Oh,
first
there's one
leg.
4.
Let's see if
Ooh, I'm rooting for
Now
another 4.
He
That
went
would
from
be
0 to, it was
hysterical.
actually more than 0%, you see, because
Right.
now 4 he can win it.
I would love
But
if
it
a
was
4
close
rolled
to
off.
0.
That would be hysterical. Ooh.
It's going to be a queen.
All right. Brief flurry of excitement.
He did play good, and I
Yeah, he
think
did.
Marvin Rettenmeier will be pretty satisfied with his
Ooh, I would love
But
a
it was actually more than 0%.
This one for
0% for the 4 to catch up. He has to essentially do magic now. He's
right.
They say it's 0%, but it's not. He can get 4-4 and win it. Oh, there's the
Oh,
first
this one
leg.
for.
Let's see if
Ooh, I'm rooting for another 4.
He
That
went
would
from
be
0 to, it was
hysterical.
actually more than 0%, you see, because
Right.
now 4 he can win it.
I would love
But
if
it
a
was
4
close
rolled
to
off.
0.
That would be hysterical. Ooh.
It's going to be a queen.
All right. Brief flurry of excitement.
He did play good, and I
Yeah, he
think
did.
Marvin Rettenmeyer will be pretty satisfied with his
he should be.
his debut here.
I mean, he was at the bottom of the chip stacks for most of the heat, and
He was.
to end up 3rd, that's major.
It's super major.
It seems like the newcomers are doing pretty well in this format. What would you attribute that to?
Well, I had a good look at the structure and the whole format, and I think I was well prepared. And so, yeah, I mean, I would have taken 3rd place before it started, but now I'm kind of disappointed as well, especially
Was it
fun. But I think
Bay here, superlative poker so far, and I think has established some.
They're pretty.
He's
say it. Yeah, I think Triggett's going to have.
Triggett
This is
might-
a value hand. He might.
He might re-raise.
call.
He might repop.
And he's calling, okay? This is good.
all right. We'll see if
Yeah.
Duhamel fires out the C-bet.
He's not going anywhere now.
Oh, boy.
Neither one is going anywhere. Wow.
This could be it.
This is the nuts
in.
versus the
this
nuts.
is it.
These
Yeah.
both players feel like they have the nuts.
Right.
They're trying to figure out how do I get it in.
A pair in the flush
Pair
draw.
of flush draw.
and top pair.
He's thinking any 5, 7, or spade is
Backdoor
good.
flush draw.
He's thinking he's probably good right now.
Yeah, I
Yep.
think it's probably going to go all in.
Probably good. He's thinking.
Well, it'll be up to Trickett, won't it? I mean, Duhamel's obviously going to bet here
Yep.
to shove if he gets raised. Up to Trickett, won't really good right now.
Yeah, I
Yep.
think it's probably going to go all in.
Probably good. He's thinking.
Well, it'll be up to Trickett, won't it? I mean, Duhamel's obviously going to bet here
Yep.
to shove if he gets raised. But isn't Trickett more the kind of guy who just sort of plays a little slow? You think he's going to just...
He has a slow button in him that's more likely than a... Yeah, he might just slow button it. I like this play. You know, and maybe if...
Not giving Duhamel a
But
chance
this is-
to push it all in.
What does Duhamel do if he misses the turn?
No, he doesn't like his
I think
hand
he's
so
gonna
much.
check. I
He's
think-
going to check and
Check call?
Depends how big the bet
Possibly
is.
call,
If
depending.
it's check bet 120, it's going to be call. If it's check bet 420, it's going to be a fold. Everywhere
Yeah.
in between, it's a think.
Boy, it was all looking pink and rosy on the flop,
Yep.
wasn't
yeah.
it?
But 127,000.
127.
Wow, that's a very small bet.
147.
He's just
He doesn't
saying.
want to lose him. He knows he has a good hand.
Is
So-
it possible that he knows he could? Like,
Is he trying to
It's
get
a value
called by
bet.
hands like ace queen, ace
is
jack?
he trying to let him set up? Hang
Yes.
him, he. By the way, he's made a play that Jonathan can actually now check raise all in, and Trickett might just call because it's one card to come.
He's giving him the rope. He's giving him the rope.
And a bigger bet, there's no rope available. I like this bet because you're throwing your opponent the rope for a second,
Give the dog a bone.
but it's small enough that he might just call for value.
He can't pass up.
It's going to be a pivotal
I
hand.
don't think Duhamel can pass this
No,
up.
it's a call for the math. I mean, he's just looking
Yeah.
at 30% straight against most hands that are value. You know,
Do you think Trickett knows that? Does it look like he's...
he's just gonna call.
He's just gonna call.
And now,
And if he hits the river, he should bet, right? He
of
shouldn't
course,
try and check.
This is absolute.
Unless
proof.
it's an offsuit 5, maybe, or 672. This is the pot.
Oh wow, this is very interesting. I think Duhamel's going to check, and I think Trickett's going to check and hope he's good. I don't think he's going to go for value, although I wouldn't blame a guy for going value because he might have queen.
I think you're
He
right.
could
He's
have
gonna
queen
check.
9 of spades, you know, or a 10 9 of spades, but they're really hard hands to call with, so I think he might just check.
I mean, Duhamel hasn't really played this hand like he has a king in it, has he?
Nope, he's played it like he's got 5, 7 of spades, actually. Well,
That's crippled Duhamel.
that's pretty sick. That's pretty sick. It's now 550 to 1.8 million.
But if he'd hit one of his cards on the river, the pendulum would have swung the other way.
No biggie.
Duhamel.
I bet you're still.
Oh, look at this. We have a real hand matches real hand.
I have very little credibility when it comes to pronouncing names correctly. I think the toughest name in the Premier League is yours, Phil. I still don't know if it's lock or lack. I mean, I really don't.
It's lock.
I know, but I'll forget by tomorrow.
That's fine. There's an invisible umlaut on the last A, which is a double dot symbol that gets the sound.
Phil did a little research. All his life, the entire family had been pronouncing their name lack. And then he found out the correct pronunciation
When I was in
was
college,
lock.
yeah, I found out that when we came over on Ellis Island, the gatekeepers said, "Wait, what's an umlaut? We don't have that on our typewriter. It's no longer lock, it's lack. Get in line."
Is this smart or is this impatient by Trickett? Is this standard? The check raise here?
I think he wants to get it in. Maybe.
How did the action go on the flop?
Check raise.
Check raise?
Yeah.
Well, they're going to get it all in there.
And he might not think Duhamel has an ace. He's, but
he's going to get a 10 jack to fold.
Money goes in.
And Trickett's going to call.
But
But
going to get it all in there.
and he might not think. I think he wants to get it in. Maybe.
How did the action go on the flop?
Check raise.
Check raise?
Is this smart?
It's no longer lock, it's lack. Get in line.
Is this smart or is this impatient by Trickett? Is this standard? The check raise here?
I think he wants to get it in. Maybe.
How did the action go on the flop?
Check raise.
Check raise?
Yeah.
Well, they're going to get it all in there.
And he might not think Duhamel has an ace. He's, but
he's going to get a 10 jack to fold.
Money goes in.
And Trickett's going to call.
Sick.
And let's flip.
Now he kind of has to. It's he's putting 460 in for 700. I don't know.
This could be it.
38%. Need 2 ball or a diamond is going to do it, which is 27%.
And if Duhamel doubles up here, they're going to be level.
Oh, wow.
They are
almost
level.
Looked like a flush.
Oh, wow.
Square one again.
Cancel the car home, Phil.
No, this is big, these 5 points. I mean, the guy who walks out of here in second.
Or as you've probably seen all day.
Yeah.
Just go home.
It's smart.
No longer locked.
Get by tomorrow.
That's fine. There's an invisible umlaut on the last A, which is a double dot symbol that gets the sound.
Phil did a little research. All his life, the entire family had been pronouncing their name lack.
The gatekeeper line.
Is here?
I think he wants to get it in. Maybe.
How did the action go on the? Now he kind of has to.
Up here.
Like a flush.
Oh, wow.
Square one again.
Cancel the car home, Phil.
No, this is big, these 5 points. I mean, the guy who walks out of here in second might now feel like.
Yeah.
16 is just so much more significant than 11. It's just cruises you up there.
We are reaching the end moment.
We're Group F into playing their first league match, and we are heads up between Sam Trickett and Jonathan.
Raise to 60. Cool.
Here it is. Ace-6 of diamonds, 10-7.
Duhamel's looking over there. He's thinking, this guy's a pigeon. He's playing every hand. I'm going to get it.
I'm going to get those stag, is what he's thinking.
Yeah.
Up, 2 of diamonds. Oh, wow. That's 2 pair versus air.
Check.
But to be fair, air owns
Good
the
air.
button.
Yeah, good
I'm
air.
wrong. I'm wrong. The button is small blind.
Well, I mean, to be fair, if you're going to have air, that's some of the best air you can have.
Who has the button?
Trickett. Trickett raised from the button, and Jonathan Duhamel just called.
Yep, he thinks his air is good.
Let's guess that if it comes a low diamond here.
A low diamond or a ace. Yeah. Okay, well, this is where value betting comes into play, and he's going to do it again. He's going to bet and hope to get called. So look at this. Sam knows he has the mortal lock on this hand. Mortal lock. Top 2 is mortal lock.
Top 2 is the
And
mortal.
what's the bet? I believe the good bet here is 160. Because there are some hands like 8, 9, whatever you want them. You got to bet a little more than 50%. What does he bet? I think it's 170.
Looks like a little more than that.
What's he doing here?
Did he bet the size of the pot?
108.
180.
Oh, he's doing a low. He's left him enough room to hang himself if he had, like, you know, some check raise all in kind of funk. With 8-9 of hearts, he would have check raised all in, maybe.
When they throw him the rope, they just swat it down. They're like, I don't want that rope.
Dude, these guys are both quite good at that, aren't they?
Swat it down.
Right. They don't take the rope. They don't want to hang themselves. Triggett's going to breathe a sigh of relief. He's thinking back to when he had very few chips, and he's loving where he's at. He's relaxed. He's got 1.4.
Yeah, he's sort of playing on automatic pilot.
Oh, he's definitely on autopilot.
He plays his hand, and then he sort of rubs himself uncomfortably and stares off into the distance. But
he's probably getting to the point where he's actually in a little bit of pain. Tiredness can give you pain.
He might be thinking, this isn't for enough money. Why am I torturing myself?
Yeah.
At least I got past the points malarkey, which he hates the torture of them. It's tracking all that point stuff. He loves
Can't
it.
hack through this door. Only opens
There's
from
no
the
point
inside.
considerations here. You're just both trying to win.
You'll have to find another way in.
This is a monster hand. 8-9 of hearts. He is for sure playing it. But now he has to connect. And these kind of hands, when they both connect, one person's getting destroyed, or they're both going to miss because they're so close. You see how they're all like nestled in there
they
together?
both have like blockers for the other person's straight.
They either both hit or they both miss. And look at this.
They both hit.
They both hit. Yep.
Open.
9.
Congratulations on your great victory.
Any 9 or a 5. That's what Jonathan.
I'd say if there's
and
a
I've got an overcard. He loves his hand, but Trickett loves his hand too. He's like, finally, I got top pair. It's just so hard to get a top pair. Of course, he's on the wrong side of the position game. He's out of position. That's why I call.
Joel Mel's been
time for Mary to bid her dark website goodbye.
But don't you get the feeling that if
Let's
Trickett
destroy
raises,
this
Joel's
thing.
going to have to shove, or he just doesn't have enough chips not to shove?
It's a weird spot. It's an uncomfortable thing to be putting in, you know, 8% of your stack with a brittle hand. This is definitely the best hand, but it's still brittle. It's not like
Add that to my
you'd rather
pension.
6-5 of diamonds. That's a monster. This 8-9. It's just it's vulnerable to 5s and 7s and diamonds and whatever. So I don't mind this play. You know, he knows he's probably winning. And with that raise, I think he's willing to get it in because there's enough draws out there. Like, you know, your opponent can have 6-5 and just shove on you. You can't be folding.
Pretty ropey, isn't it? I mean, if Duhamel shoves here, I mean, Trickett's going to be staring down at a bag of bones.
And I think he will call because, you know, the range of your opponent's hands here are a lot of draws, a lot of pairs that are lower. Like even a pair of 7s might get frisky, a pair of 5s. You're only really dead to the sets and the straights and the overpairs, which are rarer.
So, I mean, for Duhamel, if he doesn't expect Sam to ever fold here when he shoves, then calling is definitely the play.
Yeah, yeah, and that's what he's doing. He's looking. He's a big hand. He even thinks if a 10 comes, he might be able to have something. He's just gonna. I like this. The stacks are deep enough to justify just calling. All right, this is a big card. A lot of riding on this card, and it's a super nice card for 8-9. This is. It's very unlikely that Jonathan has a 4 in his range. So Sam thinks he's still.
That should be enough.
And now he's going to go. Now he's. I think he's going. I think he's going to go for some value.
I mean, obviously, Trickett doesn't think it has a draw. Yeah. But if he doesn't have a draw, what does he have? You know what I mean? Because if he doesn't have a draw, then like every hand he has, it's Trickett.
There's some hands that are made, like. It's a big hand. I don't hold. You'd rather with unhappily. Of course, he's on the wrong side of the position game. He's out of position. They'll probably call and see what.
Duhamel's been slightly less aggressive with his draws, but don't you get the feeling that if Trickett raises, Duhamel's going to have to shove, or he just doesn't have enough chips not to shove?
It's a weird spot. It's an uncomfortable thing to be putting in, you know, 8% of your stack with a brittle hand. This is definitely the best hand, but it's still brittle. It's not like it's not. You'd rather 6-5 of diamonds. That's a monster. This 8-9. It's just it's vulnerable to 5s and 7s and diamonds and whatever. So I don't mind this play. You know, he knows he's probably winning. And with that raise, I think he's he's willing to get it in because there's enough draws out there. Like, you know, your opponent can have 6-5 and just shove on you. You can't be folding.
Pretty ropey, isn't it? I mean, if Duhamel shoves here, I mean, Trickett's going to be staring down at a bag of bones.
I think he will call because, you know, the range of your opponent's hands here are a lot of draws, a lot of pairs that are lower. Like even a pair of 7s might get frisky, a pair of 5s. You're only really dead to the sets and the straights and the over pairs, which are a rarer.
So, I mean, for Duhamel, if he doesn't expect Sam to ever fold here when he shoves, then calling is definitely the play.
Yeah, yeah, and that's what he's doing. He's looking. He's a big hand. He even thinks if a 10 comes, he might be able to have something. He's just gonna. I like this. He even sets might get frisky. A pair of 5s or a lot
down in the rope.
Enough. He's pro. To others with the
after less
calls on the wrong side of the top pair. It's just so hard to get a top pair.
Uh-huh.
Of course, he's on the wrong side of the position game. He's out of position. He'll probably call and see what.
Duhamel's been slightly less aggressive with his draws, but don't you get the feeling that if Trickett raises, Duhamel's going to have to shove, or he just doesn't have enough chips not to shove?
It's a weird spot. It's an uncomfortable thing to be putting in, you know. 8% of your stack with a brittle hand. This is definitely the best hand, but it's still brittle. It's not like it's not. You'd rather 6-5 of diamonds. That's a monster. This 8-9. It's just it's vulnerable to 5s and 7s and diamonds and whatever. So I don't mind this play. You know, he knows he's probably winning, and with that raise, I think he's willing to get it in because there's enough draws out there. Like, you know, your opponent can have 6-5 and just shove on you. You can't be folding.
Pretty ropey, isn't it? I mean, if Duhamel shoves here, I mean, Trickett's going to be staring down at a bag of bones.
I think he will call because, you know, the range of your opponent's hands here are a lot of draws, a lot of you're only
for Duhamel.
He even thinks of a 10 to justify just calling. All right, this is a big card. A lot is riding on this card, and it's a super nice card for 8-9. Because it's very unlikely that Jonathan has a 4 in his range, so Sam thinks is still ahead. And now he's going to go. Now I think he's going to go for some value here for sure. I think he's going to.
I mean, obviously Trickett knows that Jonathan could have a draw here.
Yeah.
But if he doesn't have a draw, what does he have? You know what I mean? Because if he doesn't have a draw, then like every hand he has beats Trickett.
No,
right?
there's some hands that are made like 2 7s.
Okay.
But it's a rare blend. Uh-oh.
There we go.
That is why I actually would have bet that turn. Did I say that? Because I would have.
We'll let that slide.
The blank
I thought
came
Trickett
off.
was gonna
Hey, why didn't he
push the turn?
Wow, Jonathan knows when to take those free cards.
Yep.
He does.
Trickett. I think Trickett can actually check call or check fold here, but he should. I don't think he should bet.
Well, at this stage, the only thing that's missed is the ace queen of diamonds. That's everything else is hit.
He did make a, you know, if you, no, he did raise the. I guess he's given up. Yeah, if there's a bet. Wow, he has to bet. He might call. I don't know. A lot of draws did miss, and ace 5 of diamonds might right now be, you know, turning his hand into a bluff or whatever. This is going to be a tough one.
Well, you do have some sort of confidence that if Duhamel did miss, he would bluff here. I mean,
that's true. I think by the way, and you have a real legit hand. I'm going to call here, and I'm going to be wrong. But I am actually going to take the 8-9, and the way this hand played out, I think I'm going to make a bad call. It's tough, but it's like you're bluff catching, essentially.
He bet such a small amount. It's sort of crying for a call.
This is one of my weaknesses, by the way. If this is correct to fold here, this is a hole of mine where I make calls in the river too often. They're all going to exploit me now, Jennifer. I just gave one of my weaknesses. My kryptonite is out there.
I think I'm the only one listening right now, Phil, so I'm going to exploit you tomorrow.
Yeah. That's your biggest danger.
I got a tip about how Phil plays.
But it's 235. I mean, he's thinking if I call and I'm wrong, I have $1 million. That's not so bad.
I mean,
but I feel like I'm beat. But He's thinking this. It's 235 to collect 655. I only have to be right 1 in 3 times. These are some of the thoughts.
It's really hard to put too fine a point on it. I'm not exactly sure, but do you think Sam maybe butchered that hand?
I think he should have. I think he should have aggressed the turn.
Yeah, I would.
I mean, I think it looked like. Well, it's easy for me to say because I can see the hand, but it looked like Duhamel was on a draw.
Class pass on the river, though.
But it's tough when you know, he does raise with what he thinks is the best hand, and when he gets called, he's like, well, why is my opponent lying? My opponent either has a suit wants to.
Your jokes are getting worse, not better.
Just leave the area before the same thing happens to you, alright?
No, it's just a different line. I don't think it was too blundery. He was smart to fold the river. I would have incorrectly called and Trickett correctly folds.
I mean, what do you even think ahead right now to what the dynamics are going to be for the second heater these guys are going to play? First of all, Antonio is going to be dying. Do you think to have position on Duhamel or be on his other side?
Oh, he wants position on Trickett and Duhamel. Yeah.
So he liked, even though
it didn't work out, he wants it. He wants position on both of them. He didn't have it on Sam this time.
And it'll be quite interesting to see, you know, what attitude Seaver comes out with. I mean, if you really if you go boom or bust,
I'm going to my contact with the Attorney General's office right now. No time to waste. Sir Kelly is finally going down.
And then you can just start torturing people by going all in.
Yeah, I guess you do.
Yeah, you play it for the money.
What does Caitlin plan to do with the people
I mean, I actually think Seaver might look at this and think it'll suit him better in the last 2 heats if he
Any
just
second now, Mary Kelly is going to realise that her personal slaves are no longer slaves and more like potential witnesses. We should apprehend her before she turns them into definite corpses.
We can't risk that happening. It might throw a spanner in Caitlin's plans. But we need to help those last few people she's threatening.
The Kelly stronghold is at the Sandstone residence. I've marked it on your map.
And actually, Jonathan loves it. I didn't see this. Jonathan had air, but now he's got the second pair.
Time to keep firing.
No, I think he's checking. He's
And
afraid
then
of.
Trickett has the club draw. Club comes on the river.
This is a blank. It doesn't really complete straight draws or whatever. So if it comes check, I think, Jonathan, you can now.
There's a potential recruit you may want to check out. Pushing your location.
Oh, puke. Slow. It's a call he's not happy about, but he has to call.
He has called.
He got a little funky with the A7 out of position, and that didn't really work out. It's hard. You get a real hand like A7, you might not connect.
You know, even though the table is, in one sense, deathly quiet.
Mary's possibly going on a rampage of cleaning house. She still has control over the microchips in her vicinity. We need to disable them from her security system if we don't want all the hell to die.
It can get very noisy.
Yeah, I got it.
Playing heads up in your own head.
The thing with heads up is you really have to be in the moment. You can't be in the moment 2 hands earlier. All of a sudden you look up and what's happened, your stack is decimated. The worst thing in the world is to be replaying hands in your head while your head's up.
Yep. And now this is actually, even though it's only a deuce kicker, it's a super mondo hand. Getting top pair with no kicker is great.
Especially when the other guy has bottom pair.
Right, I mean, once you have, what is it, under maybe 30 bigs or something like that, still top pair, you just can't get away from it, right?
Right, I mean, Trickett, by the way, has a hand too. He has to call here and try and peel an 8 or 5 or see what happens. And he will. It's just, you can't just keep laying down here.
Yeah.
As weird as it is, he also can pick up gutter ball draws. But he really wants offsuit 5. Oh, 2.
Like, no.
He got a little funky with the 8. It's a call he's not happy, but he has to call.
He has called.
It's a call he's not happy about, but he has to call.
He has called.
He got a little funky with the A7.
you know, even though the table is raging loud, they're shouting at themselves. You know, it gets very it can get very noisy if you're playing heads up in your own head.
The thing with heads up is you really have to be in the moment. You can't be in the moment 2 hands earlier. All of a sudden you look up and what's happened, your stack is decimated. The worst thing in the world is to be replaying hands in your head while your head's up.
Yep. And now this is actually, even though it's only a deuce kicker, it's a super mondo hand. Getting top pair with no kicker is great.
Especially when the other guy has bottom pair.
Right. I mean, once you have, what is it, under maybe 30 bigs or something like that, still top pair, you just can't get away from it, right?
Right. I mean, Trickett, by the way, has a hand too. He has to call here and try and peel an 8 or 5 or see what happens. And I think he will. It's just, you can't just keep laying down here.
Yeah.
As weird as it is, he also can pick up gutter ball draws. But he really wants offsuit 5.
Not a bad card.
It's not bad, but it's not good. It's good for his hand. We see, because we see, but he
doesn't know the 8 of
afraid
spades is a nice
what if his
card.
opponent just has a 9 of spades? Like 8 of didn't. I think it's check. I don't think he's going to really go for a value. He can't really get called by many hands.
He's got to know he has the best hand.
Queens are going to call him. Like a queen 8 is going to probably call, and it beats him. You know, it's like, I think you just got to check and hold on. You're not really going to get called by 10-5 or whatever, or Jack 9 that often. I don't think so. Maybe a sick reach deep value bet.
Wow, Phil, it's pretty obvious where your poker game has fallen down, isn't it?
These guys on the river doing things I don't do. And I love, they never lose chances to extract value in the river. I'll, hats off, because this is my week. I'm telling you, it's my whole of my game. I'm learning, you know.
I mean, it's a pretty opinionated call if you make it here, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because he's made some pretty big folds already against Duhamel.
Yeah.
So it might be a live tell. I mean, what was it?
Wow.
He called.
He did call.
Talk about getting thin value. Okay. Hats off.
And that was 130K.
That was a big hand.
Yep.
Duhamel just sucked it up.
Yeah.
Wow, I mean, that's a great getting value.
And how about a momentum? I mean, you check the river there, you just take a pot. You bet the river, get called by Trickett. Now you flattened him. You just hammered him.
Tough.
You put him in the pavement.
I think Trickett was thinking if I was good on the flop, the turn didn't really change anything, and he can't have an ace.
It would be interesting to hear what he was thinking about that hand, wouldn't it? Because he must have put him in a really specific place.
It's very hard to connect.
Oh, we got it all in a call.
King, Jack, Ace 9. It went.
It went raise, shove.
Yeah.
It went raise, shove, call.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Duhamel pole position here for the 16 points.
Oh my lord! And look at this hand. Jonathan has top pair, nut flush draw.
Couldn't work out. It was pretty bad for me. Yeah. Yeah, I thought I had the nut flush.
Can he hit a black queen?
I don't think so.
That's such a sexy flop for the Duhamel.
He can also hit a queen of diamonds. It's a red queen. He needs a queen though, and not a heart. 3 outs. Didn't happen.
Did not happen. Wow, they both played amazing.
And, well, Sam Trickett, a bit of a rough day, but 11 points. But for Duhamel, on his Premier League debut, what kind of statement has this guy made to the rest of the field?
I'm owning souls.
Group A's first match, and Duhamel has raced straight to the top of the board with 16 points. It's Daniel Negreanu and Phil Hellmuth who find themselves.
Wow, that's a good question. I mean, that was a super tough table. It's a pretty tough heat we have, so good hand.
And when Group B takes the belt, we have another.
So that's why I won at the end.
Join us next time when Group B take to the belt. We have another 8 world-class poker players that are eager to get home. The stakes are